everyone. Hi everybody, Mr. Higgins here, and we are going to start Project 6, Mandala Design Art. You can see some examples from previous years on the screen. It's just really, really cool. So if you Google Mandala, you'll get a lot of really interesting images. And what we're going to do is we are going to use layers in Photopea and duplicating layers and merging layers to kind of use your art that you made in Project 5, and we are going to make mandala-like objects with them. We want to take the idea of symmetry and balance in design and start thinking about how you're creating your images. I'm going to link to 2 videos down below. The easy one will be the first one. Watch that to learn a little more about symmetry. The second one is kind of a more advanced video talking about a bunch of different design. If you want to challenge yourself, try to think about some of the more advanced artwork, listen to that second video before you start the project. Starting in this project, we are going to make 3 mandalas. They are going to be 2160 by 2160. I do one in every mandala we make. We really want to either have drop shadows or color changes. There's got to be something that you're doing to it. I'm also going to go over some extensions. So for the first one, we're going to use our artwork that we made for Project 5. But you can also, once you do one of those as your artwork, for your other 2, you could use PNGs, or you can use a pattern cutout, either a digital or physical pattern cutout. Some students in the past have actually drawn mandalas, taken a photograph, and then we've used the magic wand tool to kind of take out that background. I'm totally fine with, if you want one of your 3 mandalas being something physical, it's super cool. Just bring those colored pencils or pens or whatever you want to do, or you could make it at home and bring it in. Okay, so I just want to give a little bit of context here about the design process we are doing with some of these projects. So in the last project, practice making digital art. This is an example of a mandala someone made last year where they took their original artwork, but they went back into Sketchpad, added a little more, took it back to Photopea, added a little more color because they wanted to just make something that would look better. And I think that's a great idea. What we are going to do, and I'm just going to give you a hint of where we're taking this, is we are going to take the mandalas that you make and we are going to animate them in the next project. Think about what you want to make and what will look cool to animate and turn into a GIF, because that's what we'll be doing next. Okay, let's get to work. So to start this process, we're going to go to Photopea. We're going to click New Project, and we're going to make sure the resolution is 2160 by 2160. That is double the resolution of Instagram 1080. And we're going to make sure our background is set to transparent. It is important that for our mandalas at this stage, we want to make sure that they have a transparent background. I'm going to click Create. So I'm going to go to Open in Place. I'm going to navigate to Project 5, and I am going to grab my image that I made. It's right here, it's up on the top. As I'm moving my image around the screen, I could make it a little bigger, a little smaller, depending. As I move it to left and right, it should flash red. You get that red line when you're in the very center of the page. That's a design thing that Photopea does. It's going to be great help this project. Move your object until it is in the very center of the page. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here, right click my line drawing, and I'm going to do blending options, and I'm just going to turn on a drop shadow. Move that over so I can see, and click OK. So now there's just a little bit of drop shadow on our object. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click, I'm going to go 3 down, and I'm going to duplicate that layer. It's duplicated on the same spot. But what we're going to do is I'm going to take it all the way down to the bottom, and now I'm going to go to Edit, Transform, and I'm going to click Flip Vertically. And I'm going to readjust it so it's pretty much at the same spot it is in the top, but now it's facing down at the bottom. What I'm going to do is I'm going to right click my top layer, and I'm going to click Merge Down. What that's going to do is take those 2 layers and make them 1 layer. I'm going to repeat this process again. So I'm going to right click, duplicate that layer. Now I'm going to go to Edit. I can go Free Transform, and I can start to turn it manually and click OK. The other thing that I could have done is gone to Edit, Transform, Rotate 90. I was going to merge down, but actually before I do that, I want to change the color. So I'm going to go to Image, Adjustments, Color Balance, or Hue and Saturation. I'm going to go to Hue and Saturation. I'm just going to change this around. Let's see, my first one in the video is teal, so I'm going to change it back to teal. And I'm going to right click and merge down again. I'm going to repeat this process. I'm going to duplicate. I'm going to Edit, Free Transform. I'm going to hold down Shift, and that'll make it so it'll just change about 10 degrees. I'll turn it 3 notches, and I can hit Enter. And I'm going to change the color again. Image, Adjustment, Hue and Saturation. Change my hue, change my hue. All right, so that's starting to look pretty cool. I dig it. I'm going to merge down. And at this point, I got a couple decisions. Do I want to make another one so they're really layering over each other? I'm going to try. Now, do I like the look of that, or maybe I should make it a little smaller. What I can do is edit, free transform. I'm going to hold down shift so it doesn't distort. Not distorting in this project is even more than important than the normal ones. So when I've made it a little smaller, I have to recenter it. So make sure I go to the left till I see that red line. And I'm going to go up till I see that red line. And you'll see if you see both red lines, that means it's centered. Make it a little bit smaller and then repeat that process. One thing that you might want to do when you do your final adjustments is go to your zoom tool and click to zoom in a few times. Because we're doing this really high resolution, it should be pretty high quality so you can zoom in. And I'm going to do my final free transform. I'm going to hold down shift so it'll, there we go. Cool. So now when I zoom out, or I can right click fit to area, you can see that I have infinite spiral down into nothingness. I've finished one of my mandala designs and it's symmetrical. It's got that drop shadow. It's looking pretty cool. I'm ready to save it. So I'm just going to go to File, Export as a PNG. I'm going to create a folder, make sure it's set to 100%, and I'm going to save in my Project 6 mandala design. I can name it Mandala Art 1. Once you've saved, what I want to do now is I'm going to right click here, click New Layer, and then I'm going to right click Delete because I want to do my second mandala. So if I go to Sketch.io and I click over, what I can do is I'm going to go over to Sketch.io and I'm going to click New Import. And what I want to do is I'm going to go over to Project 5 and I'm going to re-import the shape that I made before. Now what I'm going to do is click Crop. And so it says 400 by 400. What I'm going to do is take that height and I'm going to do 400 by 800 and click enter. What that does is expand my canvas down and it could let me add more to my original drawing to make it into a mandala. So say if I wanted to just grab my line tool again, and then at this point, what I could do is just save as a PNG and go and color that up again. Okay, so when I've finished my advanced drawing, I can bring that in, File, Open in Place. And I'm going to go through the exact same process I did in the last one. Notice I didn't fill the entire page with this mandala. Maybe that's not what you want to do. You can get creative with it. You can combine different images in one mandala. This is pretty open. I just want to make sure that you're duplicating the layers, that you're changing colors and adding at least a little bit of drop shadow. So I want to show you one last variety of thing that you can do, and that's using a PNG. So I'm going to jump over here. I just want to take some examples of using PNGs or a pattern cutout. You can download a high quality PNG and make a mandala that way for one of your three, or you can use a pattern cutout. So I just want to take you through that process really quickly. So what I'm going to do is just search pattern. I'm going to find a pattern that I like, maybe these giant pineapples, right? Right click, save image as. I'm going to clear my canvas, make sure you save, and I'm going to bring my pattern in. I can use my lasso tool to kind of draw a shape if I want. That might not look that great though, so as an example I cut it out, rasterize, Control X, Control V, delete your other layer, and now I have a shape, right? What I could do is add a shadow to that shape and keep going. But I want to use a different kind of lasso tool. Instead of just drawing it, I'm going to go over to the polygonical lasso tool. I'm going to find an area, click right at this top green marker here, go up here, go down here, go up here, and then what's that going on? Going to go to the same area down here. Pumpkin, pineapple, pineapple, pumpkin. Okay, so I've clicked around. To make the polygonical lasso tool work, you have to click back to your starting point. Sometimes that can be a little hard, so you might have to zoom in to make sure that you're clicking right at the point you started. Then once I'm finished with this, what I'm going to do is do a Control X. Oh, I need to rasterize it first. And then I'm going to go to Edit Cut or Control X. I'm going to go to Edit Paste. I'm going to paste that shape down, and I'm going to delete my other layer. All right, when you've got your shape, so I'm going to put it in the center here. I found my center line. I'm going to right-click Blending Options. I'm going to toss a little drop shadow on there. You can play around with any other special effects you want. Maybe add a bevel. So I don't need to just copy and paste it at the bottom. What I could do is duplicate, and maybe I just want to move it down. Maybe that's the shape I want. Now what I can do is right-click, and I can merge down, merge down, merge down. So now this has become one shape that I can center and move around with. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom out to see the whole thing, and I'm going to go through that same process I did before. So when you've got your 3 mandalas finished, either the animations that you made or patterns, or maybe you drew it at home and took out the edge, but use this duplicate and free transform process to make your symmetrical mandala art. When you've got 3 of those finished, you are good to go. And I'm super excited. We will be animating them in the next project and then turning them into GIFs for you to share on social if you want. Okay, I'm super excited to see what you make. I'll see you next time. Peace.